Hey everyone, Brother Robert here with Bangham Heights Baptist Church. Just wanted to take a moment. First of all, let me say thank you for taking a little bit of time to tune in and to watch this brief video. And I want to take just a moment to share with you something very important that's coming up. As most of you know, Tuesday is Election Day, and if you've not already gone and early voted, then make sure you get out Tuesday to cast those votes. But prior to Tuesday, on Monday of next week, we're going to hold a congregational fasting and praying time. And I want to give you just a real quick rundown. Well, let me read this verse. It's in Judges chapter 20, verse 1. Listen to Judges chapter 20, verse 1. The Bible says, "Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man, from Dan even to Beersheba with the land of Gilead, unto the Lord in Mizpah." You know, there's a phrase there in verse 1 of chapter 20 where it says, "The congregation was gathered together as one man." I believe it's important for us to have unity within a congregation, a body of believers. And I love how it says there that they were gathered together. The congregation was gathered together. If you don't have a church home, let me take just a moment and invite you out to join with us for worship on Sunday morning, 10:15 a.m. We have Sunday school at 9, and we'd love to have you. And that's if you don't have a church home. Okay, now if you have a home church, then I want to encourage you to go worship and to serve at your home church. But they gather together as one man. Now, let me give you just a really quick, brief rundown of the context and what's happening here in Judges chapter 20 and why they gathered together, the congregation gathered together as one man. Well, in Judges 19, there's just a very wicked act that took place. And I want to encourage you to take the time to go and read Judges chapter 19 and all of chapter 20. That way you can have a better idea of what's going on. But a wicked thing happens. And so 11 of the tribes then of the children of Israel come together as one whole. There's the unity there. But they come together against one of the other tribes, and that was the tribe of Benjamin. And so, in a nutshell, the 11 tribes join forces, and they're going to go into battle against the tribe of Benjamin. And so, as they go into battle, seeking the justice, and they came together as one. Well, they go out into battle against the Benjaminites, I guess we might say, the tribe of Benjamin. And I mean, they have them outnumbered. It's like 400,000 to 26,000. Okay, I mean, it's like 11 to 1, 11 tribes to 1 here. And so 400,000 soldiers as compared to 26,000. Well, they go out into battle, and the children of Israel, well, they suffer defeat, and 22,000 of them are slain and lose their life. And then, so they kind of retreat and they regroup, and they ask the Lord again. They say, well, should we go out to battle? And the Lord reassures them, and he says, yes, go out into battle. And they go out again the second day. And in the second day, the same thing happens. They are defeated, and they lose 18,000 more soldiers. And so now they retreat again, and they're a little confused, and because it's kind of like, now wait a minute, we're here seeking justice and for this wicked thing that has been done in the land, and we've gone into battle twice now, and we've lost 40,000 of our soldiers. And so they're a little bumfuzzled or befuzzled about that, if that's the word, all right? But now let me read you another verse over in Judges chapter 20 and verse 26. Listen to what the word says. Then all the children of Israel And all the people went up and came unto the house of God and wept and sat there before the Lord and fasted that day until evening. And then they offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. You see, it may have been one of these things where their confidence was in their superior numbers. In other words, they didn't really rely on God to bring the victory. Their confidence was more in the fact they said, hey, listen, there's 400,000 of us and there's only 26,000 of them. And yes, while we have inquired of the Lord as to whether or not we should go into battle against the tribe of Benjamin, and the Lord allowed them to go into battle, they proceeded to be defeated the first two times. Simply, I believe it's simply because their faith or their trust was not in the Lord. They were placing their trust and their confidence in the number of soldiers that they had. And so after those two defeats, it was only then, I believe, after they suffered those two defeats, when the children of Israel, they became so desperate, and that's when they turned to God in humility and in sincerity. And I believe that's then when we read in verse 26 that we find here basically a confession of their sin and their humility. And they say, we are no longer, our confidence is not in ourselves, our confidence is not in our soldiers or anything of that nature, but it is a complete and utter dependence upon God. And then when you read on after that, after they have gone unto the house of the Lord and they wept, they sat there and they fasted and they prayed. It was then after that when the Lord promised them victory. He didn't promise them victory the first two times. He just simply allowed them to go into battle. And so we find then that after they went to the house of God, remember that they came together, the congregation gathered together as one. So there's the unity. But then it wasn't until after they go to the house of God and they fasted all day. And as they're sitting there, they're praying. And then they even offered their burnt offerings and their peace offerings. And then that's when God promised them that they would have victory. You know, when you read Judges chapter 20, verse 26 here, one commentary says that this is actually the first place in the Bible where fasting is mentioned as a religious ceremony. In other words, it's the people of God at this point have now decided that it's a means of obtaining help from God. Now, listen, friend, I don't know about you, but I believe that as a nation, but even as a church, as a congregation of believers, I believe that if I can take some time to fast and to pray and to simply to say, God, I want to obtain your help because I need your help, and we need the help of God today in not just our nation, but in our churches. And so I want to encourage you to join with us this Monday, November the 2nd, right before the election day, to join us in a day of fasting. In verse 26, it said that they fasted that day until evening. This was a fast of the congregation, a congregational fast, and a fast for of the nation. And it was typical in that time to just fast during the day. So that's what I want to encourage you to do the same thing. On Monday, as you wake up and as you get up, to fast all day. And while you fast during the day until the evening time, not only are you fasting, but you'll be praying as well. And you say, well, I've never done this fasting thing. How exactly does that work? Well, real simple. Fasting really is simply this: we are denying the self and we're relying on God. We're going to deny our body, whether it's all food. You can do partial fast where you only cut out one certain thing, or you may just want to cut out food altogether on Monday and rely simply upon water or something to drink, a beverage of that nature. But fasting simply says, God, I'm going to rely on you for you to sustain me. And we're doing this simply because it's a cry and a plea for us to obtain the help from you that we so desperately need. And then I want to encourage you to join us Monday night out at the church in the sanctuary and at 6:30 p.m. as we'll come together and we'll offer up unto the Lord our prayer. And we're going to pray for this country. We're going to pray for our churches and our leaders. And we're simply going to take some time fasting on Monday, praying that evening. So I would encourage you, please join us Monday night, 6:30, out at Bangham Heights Baptist Church. We're at 5961 Hillham Road, Cookeville, Tennessee. God bless you, and I hope to see you soon.